So let's look at, welcome back. Let's look at aliases. Now, we can use aliases to represent our index. We've already talked about that. Instead of Python, instead of we using the index of Python, the default index of Python that starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, we can use aliases and we can replace that with our own indexes. So I could have data frame.pd and I'm going to pass this into that. I'm going to pass that argument. That's the name of our data. I'm going to pass the name of our data set. Then I'm going to have pass the index attribute equals to. I'm going to pass to the index, the name of index attribute equals to, we'll use 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have going to use that to do this. This time I can now say print the data frame. Now tell the print function to print the data frame. Everywhere. Okay. Let's quickly run this and see. Well, now you can see it has used the aliases here, 1, 2, 3. So that is using overriding the default of Python. But if we do this way, just pass only that argument, it gives us the default value of 0, 1. But when I make use of the aliases, I use the index that overrides the index that is used by Python. Now locate name index. We can locate the name using the, we've already done this. Okay, this is where we stopped here. Why I was talking about loading your data set in Pandas, how to use Pandas to load your data set into your IDE environment, whether you're working on an Akuda environment or you're working on a Jupyter notebook environment or you're working on a PyCharm environment. Now you can use you can load your dataset into that particular. You can use Pandas to load your dataset into that particular environment. In our last lesson, that's where we stopped. I showed us how we can use the read CSV file. Let's go CSV, the CSV function to load a dataset into Python using Pandas. Okay, in this particular case, I load this dataset into this import pandas as pd. Pandas equals to pd dot underscore this. Then print dot to string. In other words, I converted this data frame dot to string. I converted that to a string data type. So see, used to string to print the entire data frame. Okay, now in that previous class, I did So this is where we stopped, where I loaded this particular data set. Import pandas as PD. Data frame equals to pd.read underscore CSS5, and we printed the data frame. Okay, and the other we said we can convert that to the string data type. Folks, we can say we said we can convert that to a string data set. That's what we say. Can say print dot data frame dot to underscore string. That will convert that to a string data type. That will say no, sorry, it to print the whole data set. That's what we're trying to talk about, that to print the whole data set. So we set to string object has no attributes. So okay. Okay, now this is the whole data set. Okay, that still gives us 35 data sets. So now when you want to print the data set, and you want to print the whole data frame, you want to see all the data frame, you can use the to string. You can use the to string method to print the whole data set. Now, print the data frame without the toString method. Now, you want to print the data frame without using the toPrint method. We can see I printed that gives me all the data set there. So if I want to print that I can see I print that without this toString data set. Okay, I want to print this without using this toString data set. That means I just want to print this, just the data frame, without using the toString method. Now we can see on a Jupyter notebook, everything is printed. But when I go to PyCharm and try printing this in PyCharm, okay, I've pasted that there. Now let me run that particular line of code in PyCharm. Running this line of code in PyCharm. Now we can see, okay, excuse me, oh, fine, sorry. I'm having error because I don't have that data set in this PyCharm. Okay, let me see. I don't have the data set in, the data set is not in that particular folder. Okay, let us move ahead. The data set is not in that particular folder. That is confusing. Okay, let's see maximum row. The number of rows returned is defined in Pandas option settings. Now, we want to define the number of rows to print. For Python to print, you can fix the number of rows for Python to print in the option in Pandas option settings. So you do pd.options.display.maximum row statement. Import pandas as PD. Okay, print pd.option.display.maximum row. Now in the okay, the print data frame statement will return only the headers and the first and last 5 rows. Okay, now let us see this. Okay, pd.option.display.maximum row data frame equals to pd.read CSV file. Okay. Well, let's see this. Before we go to this, let's copy this. Let's see this. pd.options dot display dot maximum. We'll condense this and dash. Let's say 20 again. Okay, now set the data frame. Data frame equals pd dot the read underscore CSV file. And we'll say print data frame. Okay, let's see. Let's try to run this and let's see. Okay, let's see what no such option. pd dot options. Okay, sorry. When you don't have the options here, we don't have that option here. We don't have those options here. pd dot options. We don't have it here. So let's just remove this line of code and then run this. Okay, fine. Let's look at Pandas analyzing data frames. Let's see how we can analyze data frame using Pandas. That's what we'll look at. Analyzing data frame using Pandas. Now, viewing the data, one of the most used methods for getting a quick overview of the data frame is add method. You can use the add method, the add method or the add function to view the headings of your data set. Just want to see the column headings of your data set. If you're interested in just see only the column headings of your data set, you can use the add function or the add methods. Now, get a quick overview by printing the first 10 rows of the data frame. Now, it will print the first 10 rows, but it will give you with the add. Now, in order to do that, you add the print. Instead of print data frame, you have to dot add function. Anytime you want to use a function in Pandas or in Python, after importing the package, all what you need to do is to add the, well, after importing the package, now you already say that data frame equals to PD, which is this is an alias, PD is an alias, dot the function. We'll bring in the function, passing argument. They want to print this. Because we already referred this to be equal to this. So this is all this. So inside of this data frame, also this PD is inside the data frame. So you just put data frame dot the function. Let's try that here. In this particular case here, we can say, data frame dot the function add. We'll pass an argument if we're interested in the first 5 rows. Okay, let's just try that and see. Okay, that runs that for the first 5 rows. You can see Python using 0, 1, 2, 3, and the rest of that. Remember when we call that when we say you want to pass an argument there, you can pass an argument the index attributes. Okay, you can pass the index attribute there, and we have something like 1. We set something like this. Okay, we said we ask the index attributes like this. Um, okay. Let's verify that.